Okay, welcome back. This is video number 3 of our topic of this month, which is gaining clarity on femininity. So today's topic is feminine response. So today we are going to be talking about, or I will be talking about, how to respond femininely. And feminine response is more than just um, responding back with words, but it's also your reactions. So just keep that in mind. Your response is not just what you say back to someone per se, it's also your actions, how you react to things. Okay, so as you already know, there is the workbook. We are on week number 3, Feminine Essence in the workbook. Make sure you have it downloaded or you have it printed out and you are following along, you are answering the questions. Also, I have a printable that goes along with this video, so make sure that you also have that downloaded as well. All right, so let's get into today's topic. So today we are talking about feminine response. So, really, femininity is about responding in a calm manner instead of an aggressive reaction. I can't say that word. Reactive. There we go. Instead of responding in a reactive way, right? So, like, you're having a disagreement with someone, a man in particular, and instead of flying off the handle and responding to whatever he has to say to you by cursing him out or any of those type of things, instead of doing those type of things, what you do instead is you respond in a feminine way. So the thing about femininity is that you do not allow it to take you out of femininity, pretty much, right? You don't allow it to take you out of character. It doesn't matter what anyone else is doing. It doesn't matter, how crazy they're coming at you. You remove yourself from the situation, or you block them if it's online or on your phone or something like that, if it's too much for you to handle. But you do not allow them to take you out of your feminine energy. Okay, so now, when it comes to feminine response, you can't be impulsive. You can't be reactionary. You can't be flying off the handle. You can't be in your ego at all. Like, the ego is not a feminine construct. It's actually very masculine because the ego is very reactionary. The ego isn't about connection, and that's what femininity is about. The ego is about being right and proving itself. All of those things are masculine. So, in order to be a feminine woman, you have to learn to control your ego. You know what I'm saying? So, when you feel like, oh no, who are they? Who they think they're talking to? And all that type of mentality, it's not going to help. It's going to take you further and further away from femininity. It really is. It's going to take you further and further away from femininity. So it's all about, like I said, you got to move out the ego, because the ego is about being right, and it will create division. And that's not what femininity is about. Femininity is about building. It's about building connections, and emotional connections, and spiritual connections, and just connection. That is what being your feminine energy is about. So at any given moment, you need to say, are my words going to build a connection, or are they going to create division? And if they're going to create division, then most likely they aren't feminine. Or if your response is going to create division, then most likely it isn't feminine. So that's just a way to kind of gauge if your response is going to be feminine or if it's going to be masculine. Um, so when it comes to being feminine, like I've kind of covered briefly in other videos in the series, is that it's all about tuning into your natural femininity. You are tuned into how you feel, but you aren't allowing those feelings to have control over you. Because some women, we're very emotional, so it's easy for us to get blindsided by our emotions and kind of, not think at all, and just, like if we feel like we're being hurt or slighted, it's kind of easy for us to get into that emotional crazy thing that men call us, because we're allowing our feelings to take complete control of us. Now, that's not a feminine response. Drama isn't feminine. So what you have to do is, instead of allowing your feelings to take you to certain levels, what you need to do instead is really just, like I've stated before in another video, is get in control of your emotions by sitting with them and saying, I feel like shit today. Or I feel great today. Whatever you feel, every day isn't a bad day, every day isn't a good day. But whatever you feel, you take ownership of that. And that's what I'm saying. It's about you taking ownership and saying, you know what, even if what you feel has a connection with someone else, even if it has a connection with another man, maybe you feel like crap today because, you feel like your man is taking you for granted. Now, even though his actions are causing you to feel a certain type of way, you still are responsible for how you feel and not him. So at the end of the day, you need to take ownership of how you feel and say, well, I feel disrespected, I feel devalued, and how I feel is absolutely okay. And it doesn't make me a bad person. It doesn't make me a good person. It doesn't make him a bad person. It doesn't make him a good person. It just is what it is. Feelings are a very neutral thing, but we give them meaning by how we react to them. So our behavior is really what gives feelings meaning. So, you know what I'm saying? No matter how you feel, you have to make the decision that I am not going to be taken out of character. I'm not going to be taken out of my feminine essence. I am going to remain feminine. I'm going to speak in a calm manner. I'm going to speak on what I feel, but if I still feel like my needs aren't going to get met, or this is going to work for me, then I'm going to make decisions accordingly. Maybe I need to eliminate that person out of my life. Maybe I need to minimize contact with them. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I need to, maybe if you're married to them, maybe I need to just pull back a little bit. But I'm not going to respond in a way that's going to create division by flying off at the handle, cursing them out, getting in their face, demanding they do something, giving them ultimatums. I'm not going to be reactionary in my own response and shut down and go cold and be passive aggressive. Those type of things are not feminine responses. Being passive aggressive, being you know, being petty, being petty to things, making things bigger than they are, or that type of thing. Um, you know, really, uh, doing that eye for an eye type thing, trying to withholding sex from him and stuff like that. Like, if you're already, in a sexual relationship with a man, withholding sex from him, it's just going to make him resent you, and it's not going to accomplish anything. Now, I'm not telling you to be sexual or not to be sexual with anyone. That is your own personal decision, but I'm just giving you that little tad bit of a fact. So, do what you may with that information. But really, what this whole thing is, those are feminine responses. Those are you shutting down and trying to put up a guard against your heart. And it's the moment that you put up a guard and you shut down, you're out of feminine energy, because feminine energy is about vulnerability and it's about remaining open. So you have to remain open and you have to remain honest with yourself and who you are as a woman, as a person, as I have needs. I need my needs to get met. This is what I need for my needs to get met. So that is really what you have to do. So I'm just pausing to let you guys kind of understand. Okay, so another thing I want to say is that it really does not matter um, who's right, and this is particularly important when you're in a disagreement with someone, a man, and this stuff really applies to men or women when you're, just when you're in engagements with men or women. But obviously, this is especially true if you're trying to build a connection with the man. But so this isn't about being right. This isn't about being wrong. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter if you're right. It doesn't matter if he's wrong. But we want to respect his masculinity. And we go into masculine respect later on in the um, membership. So, but this is about masculine respect. And it's about, you want to speak to him. You want to use every occasion to build connection. And so you have to speak to a man from a place of connection, right? And when you're trying to prove that you are right, you aren't speaking from that place of trying to build a connection. You're just trying to be right. You're just in your ego. So, or when you're trying to like make him see, you want him to see how it feels. You know what I'm saying? And you win that eye for an eye and that tooth for a tooth type mentality. You're just like, well, I'm gonna do this to him because he did that to me, and I'm gonna act like this because he did that to me. I'm gonna be petty, and I'm gonna be petty, and I'm gonna, be messy, and I'm not gonna let him think he can do this. When you get into that type of mentality, and your actions and your words get in those type of mentality and that type of energy, you have lost. You have lost the connection. You have lost the war. Even if you prove that you're right, even if he gets that he was wrong and all those things, you have lost the war. Hopefully that makes sense. So, um, so what I really want to talk about is responding in a feminine way is really all about taking the, I guess we can say, being the bigger person. Really, it's really about being the bigger person. If you want to put it that way, you want to think about it that way. It's about, I'm not trying to use disagreements or, you know, problems in our relationship as an opportunity to prove that I'm right. I'm trying to use the, because a lot of times people aren't necessarily trying to prove they're right, but they're trying to prove that you're wrong. So it's not about trying to prove that I'm right or trying to prove that you're wrong. But it's about using this opportunity to build a connection between you guys, make your relationship stronger, if that makes sense. Let it build the foundation that you guys can really weather any storm and come out on the top, because that's really what a partnership is about, and that's what a relationship is about. It's two people going through the good times and the bad times and being able to just be there for each other. So when you Show a man that even in disagreement, you're still going to respect his masculinity and his role as the leader and the head of the relationship. That is when he will say, okay, this woman is really someone I can see in my corner, because even when we aren't seeing each other in the best light, she's still respecting me. She's still not, you know, getting out of pocket. She's still not like trying to tear me limb from limb and say rude things and go for the jugular and do those type of things. She's still remaining her sweet, soft self. But she still at the same time is standing up to me, and she's letting me know that her problems that she has. And I respect her because she's giving me the opportunity to fix those problems. But she's not blaming me. She's not making me feel like I'm a bad person. You know what I'm saying? So those are the type of things that a man is just like, wow. And most men, I can guarantee you, are not used to that type of dealing with that type of woman, because most women are the exact opposite. They're reactionary. They're aggressive. They fly off at the drop of a dime. They're getting their egos and they're trying to prove that they're right, or they're trying to prove that he's wrong, or both. And those are the type of situations that men dread, and that's why they say I don't like drama, and I hate it when women, like a lot of times women think that men don't like when women express their feelings, but that's not true. They don't like when women express drama. Expressing your feelings in a calm, respectful manner is not drama. Drama is cursing him out. Drama is being overly emotional and crying and trying to manipulate him through your tears. Drama is just being reactionary. Like everything you gotta say, you gotta come back. Or drama is just being petty. Like, well, he did this to me, so I'm gonna do this to him. Or, you know what, like, he don't like somebody's pictures on Instagram. Let me like two dudes' pictures on Instagram. Like that type of stuff. That type of stuff lets a man know that you're not wife material, and that that you don't respect him. That at the moment that you guys have some type of difficulty or hardship or something like that, that you're probably gonna leave, or not be true or loyal to him, because you were waiting. It seems like you were waiting for any opportunity to disrespect his masculinity and disrespect his headship in the relationship. Right? So you cannot do that. You cannot do that. You have to um, sprinkle all your words and all your actions with femininity. Just sprinkle the feminine dust. Sprinkle the feminine dust, and sprinkle your words with connection. You are trying to actively show this man that you are about building a connection with him. That's what this is about. So when it comes to feminine response is just you staying in your soft energy. Now I know sometimes that it's difficult, like you get in an argument, and sometimes, and especially if the other person is yelling at you, or they're coming at you wrong, or they're, maybe they are being disrespectful towards you. It's difficult, yes. But nothing in life that is worthwhile is easy. Yes, it's difficult. But I always say, like, I don't allow anyone to get me out of character for the most part. Now, of course, I'm human, and there are times where, I've yelled back at someone, or I stoop down to their level, quote unquote. But for the most part, 95% of the time, I don't let anyone get me out of character. No matter what they're doing, even if they're being disrespectful. If they're being disrespectful, if it's in person, I remove myself from the situation. If it's online or through text or something like that, I either ignore them or I block them. I don't feel the need to prove myself to anyone. I don't feel the need to continue to talk about anything. You know what I'm saying? I have already femininely responded to something. So if that person is like aggressively hyper masculine or something like that, um, then at that point it's a lost cause, because they're either hypermasculine or in their ego or both. So they're not, and if I continue to engage with them, I'm going to stoop down to their level and be hypermasculine or be in my ego or both. So instead, for me to remain in my authentic feminine energy, I decide that it's just not worth it. I've already stated my stance and my case. And so if they can't respect that, it's time for me to move on and remove myself from the situation and remove them out of my life. Hopefully that makes sense. So that is what today's video is about. It's about removing your ego and responding, speaking up and responding in a soft, calm manner from your feeling place, but not being moved because of what other people may be doing. And if they get out of line, remove them from your life. But don't do those passive aggressive petty behaviors and those all those things I listed earlier, because those draw you into masculine energy. You may think subtly they're not, the sarcasm, all that stuff draws you into masculine energy, and it creates division. And anything that creates division is not feminine response and not a part of a feminine response. So just keep those things in mind, ladies. Make sure that you are following along in the workbook, that you also print out the principles I said before. Um, and really enjoy the rest of your day, no matter, or if you're watching this at night, your night. But until next time, stay feminine.